Okay, colleagues and students, my name is usually from chemical engineering. I also happen to be the director of the EDGE, responsible for these activities like TechTalk. TechTalk is a series of forums and dialogues given by engineering researchers of diverse academic backgrounds to share their insights on innovation-related topics. So welcome to this special TechTalk. This is special as the usual time normally is Thursdays. And of course, the topic is also timely. It's now 8 days after the Turkey-Syria earthquake. We have seen the tragedies and collapse of buildings and so on. So we have the pleasure to invite Professor Quentin Yue, my friend, Yue Zhongqi 教授, to share his wisdom and finding using his new methane gas refined fault theory of tectonic earthquakes, which is too long for me. So Quentin graduated from Beijing University with both bachelor and master degrees in geology and earthquakes, and also from Carleton University with a PhD in geotechnical engineering. He's a chartered engineer in Ontario and Hong Kong. His research interests include geotechnical engineering, earthquakes, and volcanoes. He's one of the world's top 2 highly cited researchers, and this actually will be his 3rd talk for us. And so I personally like to thank him for the support. Let us warmly welcome Professor Quentin Yue.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Professor Lee, and our director of this EDGE, former director of Vice Dean of Faculty Engineering. Anyway, so we were friends. We were come here from join Hong Kong almost at the same time. Okay, in the year about the 2000. So now it's 23 years. So 23 is very long. Okay, but luckily I've been here. Hong Kong is the best place for research. And we have a lot of information. Okay, we have a lot of time and freedom to do whatever we like to do. That's very important. We do as a professor, we don't have mandate for doing something other people ask us to do. We do our self-interested, so our own interest. Okay. So now I've been working on earthquake for a number of years. So anyway, today I will talk about this Tokyo and Syria earthquake. So I try to get to brief you some understanding. How can we understand this earthquake? Because nowadays is a very good time, very important time, because many people blame the designers, engineers of Tokyo for their poor quality of buildings. Okay, so that's a time for us to give you a different views, like public view, so that we can make sure we can progress in our world for better design of building or against the earthquake. Okay, so this earthquake already. So it takes time, Okay. So anyway, this one is the earthquake locations. Okay. So that's 2 here. 2 earthquakes. Okay. One starting from this location, and then a second one here about 6 hours after. So that's location here. Okay. So then there's one here. You know this already. So anyway, the affected area very large. We'll discuss it later on. So then that's the by USGS. So this kind of some earthquake here, and then affected zone, very long and very wide. But remember, you can see now this we try only these locations, but here, lot of damage occurred here. Beyond far away from the earthquake that what is studied by the theory, okay, current theory. And this one very circular. Okay, this one very circular. It's not long, it's very circular. Very special, very circular. Okay, so that's one long. Because normally, based on theory, by fault is very long, should be very long. But this one very circular. So unexpected, bigger, also very large. So the building will damage too much. So that you can see now, UN, EDGE chief, very sad, he said, now it's 25,000 people killed or died, okay? Then more than double, will be say upon 50,000 people. But up tomorrow, yesterday, it was about this much. Then about 80,000, okay? 37,000 people died, more than that. And then, about this part in Syria, because they are the location at the plain area of the mountains, okay? So the damage too much. So I should express our deepest condolence to the Turkish and the Syrian people. So they are killed by earthquake. But the current understanding, mainstream understanding of the causes of earthquake and the deaths of the fault with the fourth theory of tectonics. So there are fourth theory of tectonics earthquakes. What's the fourth theory? Is the based on the we call the plate tectonics. Plate tectonics is developed in might be 60 or so years now, 60 or years now. So they put the wood into plates, lot of plates. Okay, this Arabian plates push this way. Then that's another place, Anatolian place. Then here is the location of the earthquake around this location somewhere here. But the other one is not on earthquake, second one, big one. Okay. Anyway, this kind of movement, relative movement, okay, then causing stress. Then if the stress above the resistance, then you got an earthquake. So that's the location, and say this one. So the people says this is all the BBC or the professor says what the cause earthquake, because this kind of the separate part called place. So then the place, fraction, okay, against the adjoined ones. So the pressure builds, okay, until one place suddenly jacks across and causes surface remove. This time was not Arabian place moving northwest, this way, northwest, okay, whatever, and the gradient against the Anatolian place. So this place here, So that's the fault here. They got a fault here. Okay, so that's the theory. Very simple, right? Very simple, very right. Okay, very right. Nobody can get against, but then they got this kind of they call it actually caused by struck snip fault. So this way, then the force loading here and loading here. Then they got a shear. Then got the deformation like S-shape deformation. You can see the S-shape deformation. Then suddenly ruptured. Then causing the earthquake like this. That's this one. Okay. So that's the earthquake here. Then that's the called velocity. So the main earthquake recorded. This one understand very well. Okay. Okay, so that's the ruptures here. So that's the theory. So then they can see by satellite image, you can see the some faulting here. This line, the line here. This way and this way. Okay, they call this kind of slip. Slip faulting. Okay, then this one here. But that's already. Okay, so the newspaper always says, why did it hurt and why it was so deadened? Okay. The professors in the world always, including everywhere, they carry the earthquake very big, but not only the power of the trauma causing the devastation, but the building, standing of building is also a factor. The building, okay. So the people on site, the Turkish, whatever they always says, they find out surprising the strong doubt, okay, surprising how some buildings or are undamaged, others turn into rubble. Okay, so the very contrast. Okay, the failure one is little trouble. Okay, so they say that the building falls like a horse of cast, and then the foreign media says construction in question. Okay, and has weak. Okay, so construction problem. So that's the situation. The failure occurs here, this region, but this region, the building here and here nearby would not fail at all. So that's the question, okay? So the contrast very big. So people say, believe the failure was the poor building because that's the simple understanding, right? Must be that way. Okay, you can see now, and this one also you can see that building not fail and it would fail, and this one here, the failure occurred here, and this building, the window, the kind of window, glass window, all this not touch it, okay? No, so no failure at all. So then you can see that's the one here completely collapsed, and here somehow breaking here. That's okay, but this one you can window here, all these buildings, and here and this one collapsed totally. But the nearby the window no failure. So that means what? this building must be very strong, okay, and others must be very poor, either way, right? But actually, this building, if you look at the window here, it's not so strong, okay, if under the same loading, okay. So there are so many. The certain image you can see now. You can write down here. This one before and after. See, this location can fail, others not fail. Okay, so this location fail, others not fail. Okay, so many others. So that means the failure is concentrated on the local area. Okay, not everywhere. So not everywhere. Okay, so that's the very important observations here. Then that's the before afterwards. So you can see so many here, and the failure only here and here in this the triangular or this is the rectangular area. Okay, so you can see now. So when we look at all the failure, many newspaper says, but this one important to understand the failure only localized, but the contrast too much. One is a huge failure, collapse totally. One is no failure at all. People were not killed or injured. So they said here, the Turkish Ministry of Environmental Urbanization and Climate Change currently damage assessment of about 236,000 buildings within 11 provinces. Then only about 33 buildings collapsed, or only 14% were seriously damaged. Okay, in urgent need of demolition. Okay, so that's the February 13. Okay, so you can see, and we saw that already. Around 13 or 14%, okay, but they are localized. So that's the case, okay? Important observations here. But so why the earthquake in Turkey was so damaging deadly? And this professor of seismologist, okay, and the CEO of this kind of catastrophic modeling company, Tempora, okay? The number one factor is building quality. It trumps or other else. Okay, so building quality must be, because you see other building, the window not failure. This one built completely collapsed. So that the underlying here, understanding here, I put this understand logic here. So the basic logic of current mainstream understanding of cause of earthquake and death, the relative movement of tectonic plates, they're suddenly falling crystal rocks, and a big tremor causing big tremor. Okay. And the big tremor, then the undamaged building or good quality, then collapsed building, poor quality, then collapsed building causing death, and the poor quality because intention or no intention causing death because this kind of construction problem. So the vice president of Turkey or whatever, they get a 130 individual linked to the collapses of buildings were identified, and all 2012. Arrested, and 113 ones were issued. So, okay, you can see now, So the issue here is what? What I try. The buildings adjacent were subject to the same or similar loading of seismic waves, because this tremor is a wave. Okay, all the buildings, the ground not fault. Okay, only the wave come in. But the problem is that this is statement very important underline. So all this judgment here. The subject of the same logic, but I subject logic that everyone should be similar. But why this one completely collapse or become rubber? Others no touch, So like like window glass window no failure. So that's the trouble. So the building must be very very poor, okay, very poor. But the building stay for many years, okay, So that's the issue, okay. So the question is how can we understand it? So the implied condition of assumption is that loading, okay, or seismic waves or tremor applied to all the buildings on the adjacent ground are same or similar. Is this assumption completely right? Is the fourth theory completely right? Was only in the seismic wave loading available? So we need to ask questions here, right? So if we don't have, you see, actually our human being do not understand Earth well, right? Why we need to do research, So we don't understand it, but actually got so much decisions already, making all this in blame there. So actually we don't understand, if you see the process, because as an engineer we know if you have mechanism, the mechanism you write must be from step by step. Okay, everything should be very clear, but you don't have it. You only have what? The plate movement, okay, relatively, but when, where, how, you don't know. Okay, so This is called isolated collapse of building. Okay, so undamaged, slight damage, and in somewhere, totally collapsed building. Okay, so this phenomena, okay, the responses of building to the earthquake are dramatically different. Okay, according to the earthquake loading applied to the building on the adjacent ground be substantially different. Okay, so this guy is subject to a huge loading, and that guy did not subject loading, so then loading is different. They're making the response different. This is a possibility. Okay, right? So why don't think this way? Okay, so now, this one here, actually, this is happening in Wenchuan earthquake. So in the May 12 to 8 Wenchuan earthquake, so that this one for here, okay, then the building collapse here, isolated collapse of rubble or buildings occurred. Okay, so that you can see example here. The building collapsed, all the stack here, you can see, and these people buried inside here, by the students, whatever, cannot escape. And this building, very good concrete structure here in bottom become failed. And here, this one here, there's so many, this collapsed building, and nearby this building, the very poor houses, whatever, no touch, and the ground, no failure. No, so I one side here, all these things here happened before. Okay, so you can see now, and this one is the dimension. This kind of town, this is called the Chushan town or Beichuan County, damaged too much. But you can see there's still many buildings here are stand up and many others are collapsed. Okay, so that you can see now this happened before, but at that time, in Wenchuan time, people always blame the quality of buildings. Okay, same happened here in Tokyo. Why you can be blamed the buildings in this country? Because they are poor countries like China, all this. Nobody can blame anything happening in America because they are top countries, okay? So Tokyo blame buildings poor. You are not good people. China at that time, people, if you look at newspaper, you put it in Hong Kong, always say the poor construction, okay? So at that time, I went aside, I investigate, I found out this theory. To understand the causal earthquake and that's with methane gas theory, refined theory. Earthquake involve a rapid and powerful release of highly compressed methane gas expansion energy that previously stored in deep aperture of subzones. The gas mass rapidly expand, rupture, penetrate, and move from deep ground to the shallow ground at speed of 3 to 1 kilometer per second. The rapid movement, okay, then an expansion along fault zone generates seismic wave. So how the seismic wave generated is by this kind of movement of the gas in the fault zone induced huge concrete damage to local ground and buildings. Earthquake was a cooling process. The gas expansion absorbed the heat, could cool the surrounding materials in the ground sky, which caused air temperature drop down and snow or rainfall locally afterwards. Okay, so that's the situation. If you look this way, a totally different story. If you look at all the picture, okay. So that's the theory here. So that's the fault zone or tectonic plates, whatever, they got fault here. The fault must be close somewhere, okay, because and this confined stress, like tectonic stress, okay, and gravity. So then the gas from bottom come to the apertures, okay, here, accumulate here, become traps here, or methane gas. Then the gas become the mass pressure volume, particularly mass pressure become more and more because the volume cannot increase too much because the rock is very strong and tectonic stress very high. But the tectonic stress cannot change too much, always say, 400 MPa, 500 MPa, or even 1000 MPa, but it cannot change too much, in terms of time. But the mass and pressure can build up with time. But different location, different time period, like Japan, about 10 years, 20 years. Like this location, about 100 years. Like China, about 2,000 years, 1,000 years. So different situation, different location, different time period for earthquake. So in Japan, 10 years, you got a big earthquake. So then suddenly, a part of this methane gas or gas come out, only part. So that this how much part is only 3%, okay? 3% come out, and remaining 97% still inside. Okay, so that still you have a lot of aftershocks. Okay, so this come out. During this come out, you got a sounded, and got a earthquake sounded. Then you got what? You got a seismic wave go upwards. seismic go upwards, okay, then go to different good ground, background rupture or killing the people in different channels. So the area, affected area become huge because this delta M come out. The volume, you see, this gas for this one might be 400 MPI. Come to the air pressure is 0.1 MPI. So you can the volume can increase by 5,000 times. Okay, then vast area can be affected by the gas. Okay, so that's the reason why the earthquake at the beginning is a small location at the center. That's the initial rupture. Afterwards, come out because gas volume increased dramatically by thousands times. Okay, so that then this one, the high pressure, the great gas pressure, and the earthquake, the great earthquake. So this power show you what? Show you the power of gas, little gas. Can this concrete block? We only need a little gas make the concrete to move. Okay. So this video here, very for civil engineering, we know this already. But what do we do? Only at the bottom part. At the bottom part, we put a little gas here, air here, and pump it. So the pressure at few MPI. Okay, this pressure at few MPI. Then make this one become easy to move. Okay, so the air, high sealed air or gas, all this push away. Very easy, little force. So that the faulting is because gas inside, make easy to fault. So that's the reason. Okay, we have this kind of air within gas infield in the fault zone, making the fraction become almost zero. Okay, then making it move easy. So the cause of contributing collapse, the loading of highly compressed natural missing gas must migrate from deep ground to the bottom of the building by weak ground zones. So this example here, what I try to show you this one. So maybe show this one first. What you can see now is that during the collapse of this building, at the beginning, what do you see? The gas come out. At the beginning, gas from bottom come, then the building collapse, and all the dust come out, eruption. Okay, but this time the ground not moving too much. Ground not moving. Okay, so then this one also here, also gas come out. You can put at the bottom. So why the gas? From bottom the vibration almost zero, but the dust, the air, you can see the eruption power come out, and all dust come out. So why? Because gas come out. This my people standing here. This might be afterwards the main shock. Okay, but what's happened like this? Okay, that's that. Then if you see this one here. This second photograph is building collapse blasted by blasting node at the bottom of building. So the almost identical the phenomena. If you look at this one, the people try to demolish this high-rise building. It's very strong, but they put a little TNT there and explode it. Then from bottom, the air come out, gas come out. Then the concrete become damaged. So the pressure of this concrete expanding or pressure is huge. It might be say many hundred MPI. Okay, so that all the concrete or steel become broken. So and the dust come out, gas come out. So that's the phenomenon. Same. Okay. So then if you look at this one, here, and always at the bottom the gas come out before the collapse. Okay, so you should, this video are very important. In Wenchuan time, people observe this phenomenon too, because once the people saw it, building collapse, the dust come out, become like volcano eruption. Okay, it happened before, but at that time, Wenchuan, people did not have a camera. Okay, everyone, so that they cannot catch it. But this time, they catch so many. You can see the gas, black gas come from bottom. Okay, then the building collapse. Okay, so if you look at this one here, also the gas come from bottom, then from top. Black gas come from top. Okay, so that's all the gas come out at the bottom of this building, then causing that failure. So that if you then, and this one here, this aftershock or after main shock, all the same. Okay, so the same thing happened here. There are many videos like this. So that always bottom gas come out and the building collapse. Okay, so that means that's possibility the gas to the bottom of the building from the ground, then causing you see the easy to erupt, uplift, then expand horizontally, then support the zero, then coming down. Okay, failure. Okay, so that's the case. Okay, so that's the case. Come out the gas, stage 1, and this time with deep ground, they got a high frequency because the ground are compressed. The gas come out rapid. So the high frequency, so that this is the P wave, okay? Then S wave come out, okay? So sounding come out, you can hear it. So then the top part, the soil become weak and soft. So then the large deformation can occur. So that then the building up, if the gas come out, the building damaged or ground damaged, okay? Then the channel and the ground always faults, always discontinuities, always something wrong. Weak zones, the gas can penetrate to this location and come out to some distance, then causing damage or collapse of buildings or ground. Then for the vibration, sensing wave, the building can sustain it, so no damage or little damage. So that's the situation. So the reason why I got the two contrast, one is the failure totally, one is little failure, because the little failure guys only subjected seismic wave, okay? So that's wave, not much, the loading, and designed already. But this gas, they did not design, they did not against, so that they got in trouble. So that's the reason. So then the gas can stay inside into air, then go to the trouble of aftershocks, okay, causing aftershocks. So then cause of concentrated ground damages, okay. So the loading of highly compressed methane gas, mass migrate from deep local ground by weak zones or fault come out of the ground. So you can see that's the bridge here, as the roadway can collapse here. So this kind of tensile failure. The only condition is gas come out, okay. Then got uplifting, then coming down, okay. Then dust come out, and this very well also. This very well also. So this turning are all by this one. So this kind of faulting here, you can see the faults here are all shoved here by the gas, and the ground can shift because uplift and shift come out from the fault zone, and here uplifting here. Then here, this one here, the gas come out. So localized ground rupture and the damage are because gas come out from deep fault zone and ruptured because the speed is very high and the pressure very high, causing this kind of failure. And this kind of failure always get terminated very quickly, okay, cannot extend too much. And most time in mountains, terminate in mountain rocks, okay, only soils. Okay, so this video shows the shear, whatever, this rupture here, and very straightforward. People say, oh, this is the evidence of shear or the snipping. But actually, this is under the confine of the ground stress. The gas come out and making the shift of the ground, so causing this way. So the gas come out. So you can see all this, they are in locally, they are in tension. They are all in tension. Okay, the failure all in tension. Okay, so that's the direct evidence of gas come out from the fault zone, then making this kind of localized narrow zone failure. Okay, but people see this way because of the horizontal stress causing this one. Actually, it's not, because this ground is a very soft ground, very inhomogeneous. How can the failure a straight line? Only condition is from bottom the gas comes right away rapidly, then cause this kind of failure. So intention, local intention. But globally in shear, because global stress is shear, okay? Because there are two stress combinations. One is global stress, tectonic stress, one is local stress for heavy damage. Okay, so this phenomenon happened in San Francisco earthquake. In many earthquakes, this one see before. Okay, so this can see locally, they are all in tension. So you can see now the gas come out and make gas come out, then they can see got this kind of failure. And the passing through mountains too, the roadway. Okay. So and come to mountains too. So this phenomena are very, very clear, but people don't see this way. Okay, people don't see this way. Okay, see my way. Okay, people say that's the evidence of their fault actions. Okay, fault actions. Okay, so the people say, oh, this is action here. The force stress causing this one. So stress causing this one. But you can see this one is straight, but this one banded. It's not a straight, it's a banded. Okay. Once it's banded, you got trouble, you know. So only the air high gas can go this banded. You can see let's change the direction here, the change direction here, okay, the banding here. So this shear cannot work out, okay, this kind of banding, okay. So that's the trouble. Okay, that's this model does not work in the kind of mechanical model. So what's happening here? It's the deep ground, confined ground rock by stress gravity. The gas come out, okay, then with the sounded and with vibration, then come out and then come on the first zone and drop to the ground and causing this kind of, and these two stress conditions cause this kind of local dramatic failure along the first zone. Okay, so then most important is what? Is the ground will settle, okay? The ground will settle, subsidence will occur. Because gas come out, subsidence will occur. Okay, so then there happened a course of wide and deep and non-rift. So that's also gas loaded from ground causing this one eruption. So this you can see this one is good. So you can see now the ground the rock is horizontal. That's the sedimentary rocks horizontal bedding. So this time the landslides did not occur. It's, in the winter earthquake, there's no landslides occurred. Why? Because this horizontal ground, the gas cannot come out. The bedding is horizontal. So now they have to gas accumulate bottom. They have to have to erupt these mountains, you know, in the valley. So this becomes 30 meters deep and 300 wide. Okay, so that's 200 wide here and the 30 meters deep here. This kind of eruption, like volcano, the stuff here, then the material settle here. All these are rapid broken of the rock, horizontal rock. Okay, like limestone or. Then you can see this rock very fresh, very nice, this rock very good. So this rock, like marble or limestone rock, they are very fine. So the permeability very low. The permeability very low. So that gas cannot come out. So only condition is make the rupture failure. So that's the situation. So you need a lot of power for forcing this kind of rupture. Okay. So in this very thick, very good rock. So only the gas can make this one bottom up. So the same thing, all these horizontal bedding here and this part here and this one come out. Okay. So that's the case. Then this is Oliver. So that's the situation. That's more. Okay. Then there's more look here. Then the finishing here. Okay. This part, the loop, you can see finishing here. So only this region or this region get trouble. So you can see it's very long, but it still have ending point. Okay, so this is not the fault shear. Okay, this one definitely something from bottom up. The gas, high pressure gas come out because this is the overbedding rock are very strong, so that they got this one. So do landslides. Okay, do landslides here. Not too much landslide, you know, because this bedding, the gas cannot come out. Okay, like so. Okay, location. This one at the and the Taya about 80 kilometers here in this village here, you can see. So this far away, I will show you from the center, epicenter of the seismic center of the earthquake. So that's the village here. You know, this village is this olive trees. Okay, so that ground was damaged. Okay, in this one here. So you can see that's a very interesting point here. So this one location here is about the center here, and this one here is 130 kilometers away. Southwest. So this is a video to show this a video to show it. Okay. So this video show you all this happening. Okay, and this the eruption occurred here. So that you got this kind of phenomenon. So that's the definitely a high pressure gas mass come out, erupt these mountains here, a rock here, and broken rock and vertically come out. So if you do calculation for this force, is huge. For this failure, you need a very high pressure. So this pressure can be set at least 100 MPa the gas pressure. So then you can obtain this one. Okay. So that you got ending here above. So the distance need to be very long. Okay. So that's important evidence. Okay, for this kind of failure. So this all in the video. Okay. So this one here, astonishing image of the earthquake in this one Haiti. See this one here in the Oliver Garden. Okay. So the raft. So then the pupil here, is a huge explosion and sounded. Okay. Then the guy's explosion come out from here. There are those who saw it exploded. I could not believe it. There are green smoking come out over there. Because the gas come out, it must have smoking. All the dust come out. Okay. Because this failure. The big explosion sound and green light. Okay. So that's the important observations by people on site in the newspaper. Okay. So then we have another one called green and blue lights. Okay. So the rapid emission or flash of the highly compressed gas, natural gas from the ground to sky. So you can see now, during the earthquake, there is the vibration now, but whatever the lights diminished. Okay, because of the heavy vibration. So then the sky have green lights come out or blue lights come out. So that's the phenomena during nights. Earthquake always has this one. Earthquake always has this kind of lights, flashing. So that's the people explained, cannot explain well. Actually, if you use in the gas, emission, as well explained. Okay. So the gas emission can be explained this phenomena easy by this kind of explosion site. Okay. So that, and also this one here. Okay, this one is an explosion and the fire come out. Okay, so that's might be another situation, but anyway, that's show you that's a possibility. People say because in the San Francisco earthquake and Japan 222-3 earthquake, the fire occurs all the way. People believe it's because some local people wooden structures actually is a methane gas come out, then catch it for fire. So the gas phenomena very, very interesting. They're very, very random and illogical. Okay. So the cause of ground tremor and seismic waves. So the rapid movement interaction of highly compressed gas along the fault zone causing this seismic wave. So this wave, you can see this vibration. How can this already occurred? Because the gas come out to the region and along the fault zone. So then cause this kind of vibration. Okay, people believe this one here. So vibration is caused by gas movement along the stressed rock fault zone, along the rock, the interaction between the rapid movement of gas and then the ground. Okay, then cause this kind of vibration. Okay, so now that can be checked out because at the beginning the vibration very small, it become very large, then suddenly stopped. Okay. So why? Because only about this was beginning small, then become large, and suddenly stopped. So that's about 60 seconds. Okay. So only gas flashing away rapidly can happen like this. Because speed of gas is about 3 kilometers per second. Then only few 10 seconds. This time 65 seconds. The thing is finished. So across 150 kilometers away. So that's the study of seismic wave for surface wave and the body wave. So the body wave was caused by the high speed running gas in the fault zone and penetrate the rock, then at the beginning, the deep ground, because the rock and stress very high. The surface wave has a property is decay with depth and the ground become large. But because the gas come out to the surface, then the pressure becomes dominant. The rock becomes softer and becomes soil. So the larger deformation can occur. So then cause wide ground waves. So that's the case. At the beginning, you can see the far distance here. That's the body wave come here. And three dimensions. Then from here becomes surface wave, very huge. From here, very huge. So that's the body waves and then the surface waves here from this point here. So that's the love and rainy waves. Okay, so that's the situation. So why have this kind of stuff here? Because the gas come to shallow ground, causing big wave. Okay, so that's the idea. Because you can see now, the gas pressure then that's the stress pressure in and increase depth. But after this kind of depth here, this one might be at some location about 7 kilometers. Around 7 kilometers deep go upwards. Okay, 7 kilometers go upwards, then the gas pressure become dominant. So the ground deformation can be large. So that's the situation. Then the gas become expanded, then the gas pressure become large. So then causing the failure, causing the ground vibrations, and then the body wave at the bottom part. So the body wave at the bottom part, and this S wave, the surface wave at the up part. Okay, so that then ground settled. So then the cause of foreshocks and aftershocks. So the non-stop release of highly compressed gas, mass and deep reservoir, and retrapped gas in the ground cavities and aperture cause numerous aftershocks. Since the aftershocks have the same seismic waves, including P wave, S wave, surface wave, their cause should be the same. So all the shocks, aftershocks or foreshocks, they have the same seismic waves, okay? So their mechanism should be one, okay? So that's the reason. Because people ask me why we have one mechanism, because the seismic waves are same. P wave, body wave, and surface wave, okay? So then that's the situation. Only one, 4 shocks, okay? And 4 point. Okay. So only one, okay? This location here. This one here is about 45 distance to the center. So this location here. So west. So only one, okay? So then before that. So why? You see, only one, 4 shock before the main shock. Then you got numerous, okay? So far by 13 February, you got 2,103 aftershocks. Then maximum here we saw already as well 7.7 or 7.5 or 8. And here, this one here, and another one here, and another one here. Then so many afterwards, okay, decay. Then of course the size become decay with death with time. And then in a vast area in this location here and this location here. So this area and come to this location here, then this location here, all this area got lots of aftershock. Why? Why the foreshocks little? Okay, because during the highly compression, the gas pressure become large. All the ground becomes sealed, okay? So the ground becomes sealed, very peaceful at the moment. The ground, very peaceful. Because the moment of the huge break or rupture. So that the foreshocks, very little. But aftershocks, once broken the ground already, the gas come out easily. So all the gas come out. I said already, see, the main shock, only about 3% of the gas from reservoir, okay, come out from out, delta M. But actually, there are many underground, and many did not come to the air. Then many still in the rock and shallow ground. So depth of this one here, you can see changed, and by this depth changed, okay, from 5 kilometers to about 20, because this one, this main shock about 17. But depth calculation might be not correct, but still indicate. Some things are very shallow, some are very deep, okay? So why? Because gas come out. In the ground, there are not of apertures, there are not of caverns. Gas get in, then become rupture again for the second, third, whatever, many times of aftershocks. So the dramatic difference between foreshock and main shock, then aftershocks. So that's the reason there are many gas reservoirs in this region, in the deep ground. Okay, so then the cause of cold weather and snowing. So that's increase the gas expansion absorbed heat, a cold ground, okay? Then the air temperature can be dropped down, okay? And the snow in locally, okay? So the temperature can be dropped down. But this time again, so this time the large winter storm was harmed since after drop snow or on the rains and begin plummeting temperatures. So the snowing, okay? But of course, that side is snowing, it's winter, whatever. But this one, after the earthquake, they got a temperature drop down, then they got a snowing. Japan, in the 2011, March 11, the earthquake also, the temperature after the big earthquake, temperature, all the region, temperature drop down, then the snowing. And the wind trend, temperature drop down, and raining. Okay, so this happened many times already, okay? one earthquake, 6 degree, okay, 6 M6 in June, after the earthquake, it's snowing, okay? So why? Because this gas comes in the sky, and with the hot air coming in, because the Bloom test, because if this guy is the Bloom, air expert. If the gas, high gas come out, this can vacuum. All this region gas will follow it to the sky and become cloudy there, then rain and snowing. So that's the Bloom effect. So this one, if we can channel this region, okay, the air pressure becomes less. All the air come out, go upstairs, go up to the sky. So that's the idea. So temperature up now. And release the kinetic energy and the highly compressed methane gas mass of the Tokyo and Syria earthquake. So because release the kinetic energy estimated frozen sensing waves used to estimate the scattered mass of highly compressed methane gas from deep ground reservoir causing earthquake. Okay. So we can get in how much gas come out from this wave. I said already, because calculations of the seismic energy or degree, okay, is based on phi distance. The phi distance is dominated by the in deep ground, okay, main gas here. So this kind of triangle, okay, so the geophysicist says this twin earthquake is not a common phenomenon. Of course, every earthquake is not common, because every earthquake is not common. Why? Because the ground is different. The gas interaction with the ground causing different situations. So Wenchuan earthquake, they can, they're unusual. Japanese earthquake, they're unusual, every time unusual. Because this phenomenon, they have a mind of tectonics. The tectonics is what? Is a solid material. Solid material behavior can be predicted. The gas interaction with solid material, because solid different, then cannot be predicted easily. So that's the reason, okay? So then they said it has power at 500 atomic bombs, okay? So then the calculations here, they tell you, this is about, say, 32 times 16, 10 out of 16 joules, okay? So about 8 million tons of TNT. But the Wenchuan earthquake is about 3.3, this kind of, joules, about 15 to 210 millions of TNTs. So because this one here, they call it 78. And this one here, about 8, okay? So then this one large. So the 6 times large, okay? 6 times large, or relatively speaking. Okay, so that's the situation, okay? So now you got these numbers here. So I have made the calculation of this kind of earthquake magnitude and 7 whatever, then how much volume of the gas come out by this kind of small equation here at the pressure of 300 MPa, So for the Wenchuan, the mass come out about 250 to 500 billion kilogram of methane gas at a pressure of 300 MPa. And the volume about 25 to 1 kilometer cubic. That's the volume, okay? 1 times 1, 1.15. That's huge, right? In the deep. So in the ground, you can see now, there's a huge volume there. It's 0.15 to 1 kilometer cubic. The Japanese, it's a huge. It's about 35 kilometer cubic volume of gas come out. The mass can do calculation, same calculation. But this time, for this Tokyo-Syria earthquake, the volume come out is 0.1 to 0.5 kilometer cubic. The mass about 20 to 250 billion kilogram, okay, at this one. So that's the volume causing the expansion power, causing this, the earthquake, okay. So then huge amount methane gas still in the ground. So Turkish people were very happy, or Syria. They are deep ground, they have lots of earthquake gas there. So aftershock, lots of there. So if you do exploration now, like Wenchuan, after earthquake, they got billions of tons, whatever, gas come out already in the last 10 or every day, increasing every year. So if not, Turkish people, they dig a hole there, then try to get a gas, methane gas, pure methane gas. They'll be rich. They said lots of money damaged, but if you got billions tons of gas come out, it's worth lots of money. But if you don't do it, this one will come out causing trouble to everybody in the ground. Ground will be deformed much. Okay, so that's the reason. So I wish Turkish government can dig a hole there. Okay, so then affected area is big. The total you see this one totally significant affected by earthquake is about 104,000 kilometers square. So if I do calculation here using the how much methane gas density is about 0.24 kilogram per meter square, and or 2.5. So it's kind of this compare this one not much, but this one causing the problem. Okay. So that's the important effect because local region and high region could affect it because gas come out. Gas can be the volume can increase say already, because if you 0.5 kilogram cubic, you increase about say 3,000 times. It's huge volume and everywhere can affect it. The cause of trauma non-substance, because the gas come out. I said already the volume is 0.1 or 0.1 or 0.5 kilometer cubic. Then the mass settle. Okay, then substance must occur because the gas from reservoir, the support is lost. So that's happening in Japan, in Winter, in many other big earthquakes. Always ground settled. Why? Because volume, about the kilometer cubic volume of material come out. Then the ground must settle. So this time the ground settled here. This is the center, and this location. In Winter, 200, 300 kilometers away, get settled after earthquake. Okay, so that's the real data from this geologist. Okay. So then, see the subsistence here, this one, okay, So then the people always said, I have not all reasons here, not all reasons, but liquefaction, whatever. But the problem is they don't have this people here. Exactly what caused this substance is still up to debate, okay? Because you don't know, okay, why it got settled there. Because far distance, the distance here from that location to that one is 130. In the calculation, not in the with the affected zone already, but it's the one here got trouble. Okay, so what happened here? Because gas from this location come there. Okay, so the cause of natural gas reservoir, the natural gas in gas reservoir, okay? So gas in the gas reservoir, because there are lots of gas here, in the ground, okay? So then what's happening here? If we look at this location, if we look at the globally, all the gas reservoirs is location of earthquake, okay? Same location. You see, if you're American here, you see the San Francisco, there are lots of gas reservoir here, then it's here location of earthquake. And here in South American here, always here, and big earthquake occur in these regions here. And this one here, in the Indonesia, they got lots of earthquake here, they got lots of big gas here. Whatever you got this one here, then in this region, it's a Persian or Arabian Gulf. Here, lots of biggest gas reservoir here, nearby. So that's the one here. That's the earthquake center here. And this one is largest gas source of reservoir here, in the world. Okay, so in this one, it's largest. Why is why cannot glare? So the gas deep ground can change channels. Okay, so that's the Turkey here. Then you can see this part here. This location here is the earthquake. So is this location? Oh, sorry. So this location is the location earthquake here, but here they have gas reservoir here. So they have gas reservoir here and gas reservoir here, red one. So they have lots of gas reservoir, gas production here. Then in all this, they have gas production here. In Syria, there's not much more gas here. Okay, so that's the situation. And in this one in Tokyo, they have gas. In the Black Sea, they have gas reservoir occurred here already. So then they have this kind of sheer gas protected region in this location of all this here location here are this location of this kind of earthquake affected zone. So they have gas reservoir here, potential sheer gas reservoirs in Tokyo. This one. So that's the gas here. Okay. So then all the past earthquake here is caused by earth gas. Then all the gas come out and can keep in the reservoir. Okay. So that's the region here. There go lots of gas here. get past earthquake, but a long time ago. So the gas become less, okay, but still they have gas here. Okay, so that's the take-home message. Okay, what I try to say is, you said already, the understanding of the cause of this earthquake and the death, within gas refining fault theory. Okay, I just put the fault here. Then all things here said already. Okay, this the damage are caused by loading of gas. All these things here. Okay, so that's what I try to say. There are too many. Okay, time, then the understanding comments on the current mainstream understanding of the cause of earthquake and gas death. So then that means the relative compressive shearing movement of tectonic plates unknown could not be the cause of earthquake, since it cannot consistently explain all the phenomena. The first theory of seismic is not completely correct. The implied condition of assessment of loading of the seismic waves or trauma to apply to the buildings on the adjacent ground are not same or similar is not completely correct. Of course, seismic loading correct, but loading is not correct. Okay, the current seismic design might consider the seismic wave loading. The unknown type of distress earthquake loading. Loading was not recognized, used, and prevented in the seismic design or building structure around the world. Loading was the expansion, eruption power of compressed missing gas rapidly flowing from deep fault rocks to shallow ground and foundation of structure. The death due to building of collapse was a natural result, since the seismic design standard did not consider this gas loading. Okay, so that's my belief. So what I did before, actually, for so many years, I studied this one. I only did one thing. Okay, actually. So that's the current active fault theory of external loading. So and the tectonic loading, or loading here, then there's fault here. What I did is I put a gas in the fault. The gas put here. Gas in the pot. Okay. Then non-existence of gas in the fault. Then heating process, because the rupture fraction of the rock is a heating process. But in my case here is gas, because gas is causing a failure as a cooling process. So the only one difference is with great significance, so that it can build a new theory of the Earth. Okay, so that's what I try to see at the end. So that's Hong Kong in particular. Hong Kong has no earthquake. Okay, why? Because Hong Kong has no natural gas in deep ground. In the ground. Okay. So Hong Kong has lots of faults here. You can see this fault here very long. Okay. This fault here very long. This force, okay, can cause at least 66 M6, MW6 or earthquake, but it did not have for many years. At least last 100 years. Why? No natural gas in the deep ground. Why? Hong Kong here is a volcanic rock. Okay. So that's the talk. Istanbul. Okay, I went there. I presented my case in that time for this conference called Methane Gas Caused Earthquake, in that with winter earthquake of May 12 of 2008. So in June, okay, 2019, or 3 years ago. So, but at the time, I present them, but I did not expect, it could happen this time. Okay, that's the part. Okay, acknowledgement. Would show thanks the people who produced the videos and the photos at the site. Okay, and then comments. Thank you. Thank you very much.